Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're back. We're back. We apologize for the interruption. We know how technology can be. Thank you for tuning in or refreshing your link. If you're subscribed to our channel, then definitely you should get the link that we're back up and running. So we kind of got kicked out in the middle of our conversation. Honest and truly, we don't even know where it dropped. But the moral of the story is that do you want to give the moral of the story, McKenna or Marcus?
I would just say, do you? I mean, this is less gripe, and so no matter what side of the fence you're on, just do what makes sense to you. If losing your job makes sense to you, go ahead and do that. If taking the vaccine makes sense to you, do that too. If taking the vaccine doesn't make sense to you, but you want to do it to keep your job, do that too. But whatever you do you. And gripe about it. We're here to listen. No worries. We good. So I do have a fun thing to share. So this past weekend, I was hanging out with my dad. It was his birthday, and he has a bucket list. So one of the things that's on his bucket list was hot air ballooning. So we went hot air ballooning in Albuquerque, New Mexico for his birthday, and it was marvelous. And I would definitely do it again. It's very calm and very peaceful and serene to be up in that hot air balloon. And I was less anxious than I thought I would be. I thought I was going to be kind of anxious to be up there in that hot air balloon. But after we got up and away, I was like, yeah, we're only 1,500 feet up. We didn't even go that high. So we're good. These are the things that you say to yourself.
So you just gonna drop that on us, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like people was like, what you do this weekend? No, I just kind of sat around, watch football. Not only did she say she went hot air ballooning, she went to New Mexico to go hot air ballooning. So, you just dropping, you just dropping it on us like that. That's all right though. Salute to you. Salute to you.
I did. I did. Yeah, I just thought it was a great segue to ease that on in real quick and then, we can move on. But I did want to say that it was fun. And I just say that to say, while we're talking about vaccines and living and, people still are catching this disease and not faring well. If you have something on your bucket list, get to it. Get to it. That was another reason that I was very adamant about making sure that I went to support him for his bucket list because it was something that he wanted to do. Because we say YOLO and we say you only live once and we say life is short and we say tomorrow's not promised and we say people are leaving here like flies. But if there's something out there that you want to do, don't look around and wait for somebody else to say, yeah, go ahead and do it, or oh, don't do that. Make the decision and do it. Have a memory, make a memory, be adventurous, do something that you enjoy, take a risk, swipe your card, spend some money outside your budget, do something that you enjoy because it's something that you'll talk about, you'll feel good about it, you'll have a great story to share, and you won't have to sit around and say, yeah, now that I'm 74 or now that I'm 71, I think it's too late for me to do so and so. When today is here and tomorrow's not promised, go ahead and make preparations to do some of those things that you really want to do, whether it's a concert, a play, whether it's ice skating or roller skating, like whatever that thing is for you. Be adventurous enough to go out there and make it happen for yourself. Don't talk about it. Don't contemplate about it. Just do it. Make it happen.
You know, that's what happened when you use the iPad. Okay, don't laugh at me, y'all. That's the iPad, and it's doing one of its numbers tonight. Like I said, that's the fun part about being virtual. Um, we gotta acknowledge Colin Powell. He passed on Monday. Condolences to his family. Um, of course, they had to like really make an announcement. Please, even though he was fully vaccinated, he died. Don't think that the vaccine doesn't work. He was, he had other underlining issues, and because and I think that's one of the things that makes a lot of people kind of leery as well. Because like, okay, he's fully vaccinated and he passed. So again, we do want to send out condolences to his family. Also, there was um, there was another story I wanted to touch. Is in Atlanta. You guys ever checked out AtlantaCensor.com? That's like a website. It has a lot to. It shows like things that goes on in Atlanta. However, over the weekend, Marcus, you got to check it out. This guy is from your hometown. What she said? she turned the she turned the deaf to move out. She said, "Devil, you brought out right. It might be my hair, Kim. It's not used to it." But this guy is from your hometown. He's from Macon, Georgia. Um, However, he drives a Mercedes Benz, and he was at the gas station. And the gas station, I guess they have a little spot inside where you can get food or whatever. So he said he was getting some chicken. So, however, before they interviewed him, it just showed his car was running, and you see like a young guy walking like from across the street, walked to the car and gotten it. He was about to take off his car. Either two things. This car probably, the key probably needs to be in the car in order to move, or he just didn't know how to operate. Who knows? However, the driver immediately ran over, okay, to the car, in front of the car, and had his pistol pointed. So the young guy had to get out, and he thought he was just gonna walk away. He was like, come here. He snatched him up. So I'm sitting up there. I like those. I like stories like those. Oh, you thought you was gonna take my car today? Not today, buddy. However, but then you could see this young guy. You could tell that he was a teenager. So anyway, they finally caught up with the driver and they interviewed him. He was stuck. He was stuck though. So they interviewed him. He was like, something just told him not to run up and just start shooting. And it ended up being a teenager. This young, I don't know if he said the age because I listened to the interview. I didn't hear him say the young teenager age, but then he did make a statement. So this is where I kind of lost him at. He was like, I ain't no rat. So I was kind of wondering what he meant by that. So meaning that he's not gonna rat him out, like call the police. I don't agree with that part. What about you guys?
Well, first of all, shout out to Macon, Mactown as they call it, but that's not where I'm from. I went there for school. Went to actually Fort Valley State University, for a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw. I did see a story. I mean, I think we've heard a couple of these stories actually, where somebody either broken in someone's home. But the underlying story is that these young kids are out here risking their lives. And if it had been someone else, they might not even thought twice about just dumping in the car or just dumping on this person. You know what I mean? But you're out here risking your lives for maybe a couple of $1,000, if that. You know what I mean? You're out here, you want to have fun, joyride. Maybe you want to go pick up your friends in the hot box. Maybe you want to go pick up some girl in the hot box. But it's not worth it. And it's a lot of these young kids who believe that it is. And this young boy could have really lost his life because you really don't know who you're stealing from. You just looking at what really is an opportunity for you. And next thing you know, you got a gun pointed to your head or you got a bullet in, especially with these kids with home invasion. I think there's a story probably on the south side of town, I think, if you remember correctly, TONIA, where I think these 3 teenage boys had tried to break into this guy's house. And he ended up shooting, I think, killing all 3 or at least 2 of them. And so when you start to do those things where you feel like, hey, look, I got to get to the money any way I can. And I got to do this. No, young brother, that ain't you risk your life every time for probably something that I don't care if you hit $100,000 lick. There's probably a 95% chance that it's going to be gone in a month. because you're gonna spend all that money on stupid stuff, and then gonna have to, and then be sitting up there, you can't buy food no more because you got to go back and steal again or break into someone's house again and risk your life again. So it's a never-ending cycle. You know what I mean? So
tell me though, what is your opinion? He said that he did have a conversation with the teenager. He did say he did talk to him and, tell him about the streets and whatever and how it could have went and ended. I just don't believe he should have just let him off the hook that way. I'm twisted because it's like, okay, why get him in to the system? But who knows if he'd been there before? So Kim says, fearless teens, they lost. They think they're in a movie. They think they're invincible. Unreal. I agree. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence with, okay, like, as far as the police is concerned. But then I was like, okay, if he didn't call the police, well, why didn't he try to get in touch with the parents? But then I was like, but what again if the parents came and they were hood out of hood and whatever, I'm cross with it. But I believe that I do think that this kid is gonna do it again, though.
well, I mean, if he says he's not a rat or not a snitch or whatever else, the parents are included in that. So the parents are included in the same as the police. You know what I mean?
No, this was the guy, the guy who pulled the gun on the teenager.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So the parents are included in that scenario of snitching. So that means that I'm not going to snitch to your parents. I'm not going to snitch to the police either.
But do you agree with that though?
Yeah, to a certain extent, because I don't know what more will happen with the parents. It's more of a situation in which he believes he can get through to the young brother. Street dude to street dude, so to speak. You know what I mean? And there's a certain code. I'm not a street dude, but I believe there's a certain code that amongst us, we have an understanding. And once you start to bring outsiders into that, parents included, as well as police, then you've broken that circle of trust that we have. So I believe that's the standpoint he was coming from. Now, we don't know what the end results will be. We don't know if the little kid, if the little man will be like, you know what, this guy just talking nonsense. I'm gonna be out there again. We don't know. Or he could have been like, OG was saying something good, that I really need to listen to. He was making sense. We don't know. But that's the whole thing about, being a mentor and things like that. Information is information. And it's harder to reach those guys who are considered street dudes if you're not really a street dude. You know what I mean? So hopefully the guy was just trying to mentor him a little bit, tell him about there's a better way. So I think in trying to do something for the long run, he did the right thing. Because one of the things that we know about prison systems and going to prison is that, especially at a young age, we're impressionable. So unless you have a situation we wouldn't want for the young man, into where he goes into the prison system and he just has a horrible time, like, I'm never going to do this again. Or he can go to a situation where people are just like him, where they're just doing their time and there's nothing wrong with it. There's no real consequences. We just in here doing time. When we get out, we're going to try to do it again, because this jail or prison thing really ain't no big deal. It's just people like me who are striving to do the same thing, doing the same thing over again. If you have to meet somebody in prison who's an OG to tell them, like, look, young brother, this ain't the way for you. Then have to be somebody to show him, hey, there's a better way. But that's a little bit deep into kind of, mentoring and the system and stuff like that these young boys fall into. But I like I said, I think for the long run, he tried to reach him in a place that the police probably wouldn't be able to reach it, and maybe even the parents probably wouldn't have been able to reach him at. So I think it's a chance. What do you think about it, McKenna?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. He had an opportunity to build a connection in real time. In real time, I could have shot you. You would be dead right now. And you wouldn't be here to have this conversation, all because you wanted to hop in my car and joyride, and use it for a day and a half before you got rid of it. And you didn't think that all the way through. So there's a conversation that this man could have with this young man face to face in the moment about how his life could have just been gone just that fast because of a decision that he made. So I understand the not snitching part. Because if you bring the mom in, sometimes the mother or the aunt or the grandma, all they're going to do is yell, scream, and not connect. And so he had an opportunity to connect with that person. Even if he left there and made another poor decision, that memory is still there because you could have died that day. And so if you go and you make another poor decision in your moment of clarity, you can reflect on, there was that one person that did try to reach out to me, but I was too hard headed to listen. We know that the police role is not to make, they're not, it's not PAL. The police, the cops are not the PAL where they're coming and they're being your pal and that's not what we have right now. We have law enforcement who's coming to either take you to jail or take you to jail or fill out this report and put you on paper so you can go to court at a later time. And so by removing all of that, there was an opportunity to connect to him. And I think connections and role models and having conversations sometimes is what's missing in the young person's life. Like they haven't had and this was a stranger, so that made it even better. I don't know you, just like you don't know me. You walked up on me and you didn't know me. You're around here as a young person thinking, oh, well, you don't know who I am. You also don't know who I am as this adult. And so just in that moment, I think there was an opportunity for him. And I don't know the story. I didn't see the clip, but I saw with Marcus on that maybe there was some bonding that happened. Maybe there was some dialogue that occurred. Maybe there was some even contact information shared. Like if you need somebody to talk to, this is how you can reach me. If you don't, I get it. It's your choice. It's still your life. You still get to make decisions about your life, but trust and know your life could have been gone just that fast based on this decision that you just made. So make a better choice next time. Figure out what you really want to do. Get off these streets. Get this GED, whatever it is that was said in that conversation. Or don't do it. Take it or leave. Like we just said a few moments ago, do you know? But do understand that there's consequences for doing you. So this is who you want to be. Understand next time that person may not hesitate like I did to not just shoot you all the way dead, as we say. So, life lesson.
When I saw it, and that's what I said, oh, this would be a good topic for us guys. And I was like, I was caught between the whole thing. I was like, well, the cops wouldn't really be a good help. But then I was like, then his parents. And I'm like, I'm on the fence. Like, but hearing what Marcus says, and as a man, and he mentors boys, I get it. And then hearing you also piggyback on it, and now I get it. And then I think about me, because even with young ladies, teenagers, the conversation that we have, I do the same thing. I talk to them about certain things. You try to have these conversations before something happened. So I get it. But I was like, you know what? I was like, I feel torn. Like, you just sitting there like, but I get it. The conversation.
Yeah, and hopefully, the young man took it to heart, took some things to heart. You know what I mean?
Took something from it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because, like I said, I hate these people that this is one. I guess is probably like a lot of people. My pet peeve is that you have these people who work hard. Some people work 11, 12 hours a day, work 2 and 3 jobs, and you leave your home to work these jobs. You work hard for whatever you got in your home, whether it's a TV, furniture, or whatever it is, and then you come home and you find that someone has broken into your house and taken those things. You know what I mean? And they have sat at home for the past 2 weeks doing nothing, waiting on the opportunity to take the stuff that you work hard to get for yourself. And so, I always have a special place in my heart for those type of individuals, so to speak. I'm just gonna say a special place in my heart. But I'm always conflicted because I've always think about like, well, look, they should just give them a hard time. They should give me 5 minutes with that type of situation. However, but you do have situations in which you find these young kids or young men, young women, or whatever that are committing these crimes. And at what point do you say, can this person be reached? How can I help this person to do something better in the future? Or do I just be like, ain't no age don't matter. I'm gonna treat you like a grown person. You know what I mean, in this situation. So to me, that's always the a difficult choice because, like I said, I'm not a street dude, so I don't understand that lifestyle. You know what I mean? I've always been, hey, look, you got to go work. Whatever job it is, you got to do it. You might not, of course, you might not like it all the time, your job, but it sometimes, it pays the bills or whatever else you use it for. So kudos to them, because I think like a person like him is definitely someone that he can listen to, because he's someone who's been in that situation. Maybe not, that, but done things done things.
No, he looked like he was in that position. I mean, he was tatted all over up to the chin. And and he was just saying, we've been out there. So I think he probably had some deep conversation. But I am glad that it did not go the other way. And like you said, I do hope that that's something that he did take away from that to stand right. But people have to realize that, especially with Atlanta, if you're not a felon in Georgia, actually, if you're not a felon, you can get a permit to carry. That's the bottom line. You can get a permit to carry. So anybody can, carry a pistol. And that's the thing. And, nowadays, a lot of us ladies, we strap. And we real strapped. So Kim says, I think I would have called the police and then say I don't wish to press charges, all the while hoping the police coming would help scare the kids straight. She said, what y'all think?
No,
Kim,
no.
they said no.
No. They're not gonna do that unless, like I say this. It depends on the police officers that come. That's what I'll say, because there are police officers. Shout out to APD that will come and be like, "Hey, look, we may have a program already in place for this young man to go to." You know what I mean? But I don't know if it's a situation in which they'll probably be like, "Well, we're here. You're not gonna press charges, so we're just gonna leave." I don't know. I don't know the law that well to say that, but my hunch is that that's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it depends on what police officer comes and if they even are concerned about saving. Um,
And then I
a
would
kid.
just add the climate that we're in, once the police come, our whole attitude changes anyways. We have this internal response to just seeing the blue lights flash, and you could just be driving and you see the blue lights ahead and you feel a certain kind of way, anxiety, like, is there an accident? Are they going to pull me over? So I think that once the police come, it changes the opportunity to connect with that child, because you already have a wall up. You're a young man, here comes the cop. So now you already have this wall up, where you want to assert your manhood, but you really can't really assert it because you're a young person. And so they have the authority over you. So I think that removes that opportunity to connect and to bond, with the young man that the person did earlier. So, but I think that's a good story, Tony, that you shared with us. What was the name of that website again?
Atlanta Censors.
Atlanta
They
Censors.
have so many like different stories. It's so unbelievable. So over the weekend they also, so yeah, another a good one though. This is really good. Dorothy Steele. She was the, I think, the mother that played in what
Black
is it?
Panther.
Black Panther. Started her acting 88. She was just in the shooting the Black Panther 2. She did sadly pass away at 94 over the weekend. But and she was here from Atlanta.
ATL representative.
Yes. See, there you go. Woo woo. So and again, there are people out here have dreams of acting, singing, certain things. It's never too late. Um, so condolences to her family. But yes, did not know she was from Atlanta. They saw her, they said one of the I guess producer or something saw her, was like, oh, we need her. I guess she had that look. And yeah, so yes, Dorothy Steele.
That's great though. That's a great story about, it's never too late. And she got an opportunity to do something big for her life before she passed. I don't know what her life was like before then. She might have done something bigger, but I do believe that's a great story that she was able to do something like that before she passed. So.
Yeah, you just can never give up. Never give up on your dreams. That's something, if and it's your passion. And I spoke to two individuals today, and different conversation, but it still turned out to be the same. What's your passion? Because you notice there are things that we do. Some people like the if we work for a company, we working for our livelihood. Then people who own their own business, it's something that they passion. Because if you notice you're doing something, I love coloring, and I will color, and then after a while I'll put the book down on a crayon. Probably don't go back to that book and that crayon for another year. Something might just send me back to it. But then you have other people that loves it, that this is something they do maybe 8 hours out of a day, 7 days a week. And what I shared with one of the individuals, I was like, when something is your passion and that's loving what you do, it gets done. Someone out there is, you know, making nice, beautiful hair, and it looks easy, and they're making a lot of money. Oh, I'm going to start doing that. But deep down inside, I know that's not my passion. What, I probably make one or two, and that's it. So do what your passion is. So, because then when it's your passion, sometimes it doesn't even matter if you make money or not. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, one of those things. So you just go for what you want and what you desire, what your heart desire. I just believe, like, especially the last 2 years, we see how things can go. We're here today, and then tomorrow we're not. So just don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow. That's it. Always lead back to that. Well, I'm
I mean, I think that's a good note to end on, just encouraging people to do what brings them joy, whether it's crocheting or making wigs or, designing clothes or cooking. I mean, we see the story about Sister Tabitha. She started by just encouraging people through TikTok videos and through, her sharing her vegan food recipes. And now she has a book that she's written, and she has an opportunity to be on some television shows. And so I think that sometimes we give up on our dreams, and of course everybody's path is not going to be the same, but if there's something out there that you enjoy, and it brings you pleasure, and it adds creativity to your life, and you can reach other people through doing it, then invest some time in that. If nothing, the pandemic has given us time to look inward and to think about those things that we're passionate about. um, and so it's always a great time to encourage people. And I think sometimes people need just a little bit of encouragement, and a little bit of a pep rally. We used to have those things called pep rallies. And basically, it would be before the game, and you would come in and everybody would stomp to a certain cadence, and, you would do a chant and a cheer, and people would run through. And I think we need to do those things. We need to have pep rallies within our little inner circles. Like, okay, let's rah rah, let's get dressed, let's cheer, let's sing a song, let's chant, let's pray, let's have a pep rally, because the pep rally created that energy, and that energy created the momentum. And the momentum is what the players would use before, whether it's the homecoming game, whether it was basketball or football. And so when you were speaking about, that encouragement piece that you had to the two different people, that's what it kind of reminded me of, just that pep rally. And so thanks for sharing that. And, I hope to bring that same energy to somebody. So maybe tomorrow, somebody will come my way, and I'll be able to cheer for them and give them that pep rally that they need. Because I am a believer that the energy you put out, you get back. And so we do have to take those opportunities. Like, sometimes you look at the phone and the phone rings, and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person right now. And then you answer it anyways. And you're like, okay, on three, 1, 2, 3, hello, and then at the end of the conversation, you're glad that you did answer it. You're glad that you were able to be supportive in that moment, have that little pep rally, and then, move about your day or evening. So,
Marcus, you're gonna piggyback on that one.
Um, I guess. I mean, I was just listening to her, um, and thinking that, I mean, of course, that I agree with everything she was saying, um, but I was actually thinking about my my story of how I followed Tabitha Brown. I went down that rabbit hole actually, not even from the vegan thing, um, but I think we all have situations and instances where I know for me in my age where I'm like I have other passions and things, and I'm thinking like, man, look, I'm a little bit too old for this. I should have started this when I was in my 20s. And I recently saw this I think it's on Instagram, this ad for like probably like working out and stuff like that. And it's always like, and it's always encouraging to me because it'd be like people like, yeah, I'm 47, um, and I'm trying to get in, I'm trying to get in shape at age 47, and it's like, it's too late for me. And the kind of the mantra is, what do you mean? Start now. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and start. It doesn't matter how old you are, wherever. Start now. You still can achieve what you want to achieve. So start now. Um, so that's kind of that's kind of where I went with it. As far as kind of thinking about a lot of stuff and things you were saying, and just about this whole theme is that you know following your passion doesn't necessarily have an age range on it. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to be an NFL football player, that may be different. That may be a little bit different because physically you may not be up to that level to do the things that they're doing. But you could also be a coach. You be a trainer, whatever you want to do. But I do take comfort in that mantra of so what, start today. So I definitely agree with McKenna, and I love and support that whole mantra because you never know. People that do like videos and actors and actresses and even singers sometimes they put in a lot of years of work, and they never know when like that little break that's going to happen. They can be I think 2 Chainz is probably one of the is a good example of that, even though he's still a little bit younger. He started out doing this thing with Ludacris, and he was just a dude, his homeboy really, who rapped, and then he found his career and became one a really successful artist outside of that later on and stuff. So I always take comfort in his story, in Tabitha's story too, and a lot of other people. You never know who's watching or who's going to catch on. Your story or your song or whatever could go viral, and all of a sudden, all the years of work that you put in could pay off. But to encourage people that have a passion that they're thinking about starting, start it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's
It's
about
that
that time.
time.
It's that time.
It's that time. We got kicked off for a few minutes, but we hang on in here and we come back on live. But guys, to all our listeners, and I'm probably going to have to say this next week again, but I do want to give a big shout out to McKenna and Marcus for hanging with me, kicking it with me, supporting me, having my back. They my ride and die. Let's Gripe will be not Let's Gripe without them. And guys, you just don't know. Every week, it is a pleasure to be on here with you guys because you
Same here.
guys have choices and you decide to hang out with me. We in this together.
All day, every day.
We're Let's Gripe. It's not Tonya. It's not Marcus. It's not McKenna. It's all three of us. Thank you. Thank you. And definitely thank you to the powerhouseradio.com that keep us rocking every Wednesday. On that note, I love you guys. Y'all my dogs. We see you guys here next Wednesday. We're still trying to come up with something for the the 2 years anniversary. But we're gonna come up. We're gonna make that show, that week show, a special night. So again, thank you guys so much. Kim, thank you so much tuning in every week that you can. Thank you guys for listening, sharing, liking, and subscribing to the Powerhouse Radio. Thank you guys so much. Till next week, you guys be safe and see you here. This is Tonya, Kim. Thank you.
Good night,
And
everybody. It's
good
McKenna.
night.
Good night. It's MG. Y'all have a good one.
So Powerhouse Radio, take it out for us.
Get up, everybody.
All right now, ladies, you got a nice voice over there. Hey.
You know, this is that electric song.
Yes. Come on, Marcus. You know how to do it. Come on.
Yeah, I do.
See, now I had to get on the dance floor and show somebody these moves one day.
Well, guys, see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Tuning out. Peace.
Hello? Oh, Lord. Hold on. Okay, I pulled this down off the radio. Girl, I am so